Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Gwent, and today we're going to be playing the new Irresistible Attraction Seasonal Event, which is an alternate game mode in which whenever someone plays a unit, we will steal a card from the opposing side with the same amount of strength. That means there are some crazy combos we can use, so let's take a look at today's deck. So today we're going to use a double-cross Nilfgaard deck that focuses on playing cards with the same amount of strength as our opponent to steal as many of our opponent's cards as possible. That means transforming into our opponent's units, creating copies of our opponent's units, and also stealing the strength from our opponent's units. So we'll flip through the deck here to show you what other cards we have. And as always, I'll leave the deck list and deck link in the description, so if you want to try out this deck for yourself, then you have everything you need right there. And Braathens is especially good because we'll play 2 units on our side when we play him, so we can steal 2 of our opponent's cards. And anytime someone steals one of those cards, they will gain the spying status, which means Impera Enforcers can be a great source of damage. And also means that Thirsty Dame is going to be very easy to boost. And Seditious Aristocrats are also going to be very easy to boost. Then we start getting to cards at the end of the deck that we probably don't ever want to have in our hand, but in theory, there could be a use for them in some situations. So there's a look at the deck. Overall, it focuses on stealing as many of our opponent's cards as possible, and because there are so many ways for us to do that, that means we'll have many choices on our turn, which does make this deck a little bit difficult to play, but all the more fun when we manage to pull off some of those sweet combos. So let's go try it out. Okay, so going against Nilfgaard here, and they'll go first. Let's mulligan the Sergeant, and I don't love Remedy in round 1. Okay, they'll go Slave Hunter first. It's 4 power, so it should be fairly easy to steal this. For example, we could go with our Enforcers. Oh, and they use Braathens here. And he is big, because he can steal both these cards that we have on our side. Takes 1 just by Braathens himself, then using the Duchess's Informants, they'll create a copy of Enforcers, and use that copy to steal our Enforcers. So what if we return the favor here by breaking out our Braathens and doing exactly the same thing? I guess we'll go with the Enforcers here. And because these guys have 4 power, it's fairly easy for them to steal them back, so we might as well apply this damage while we have them, in case we end up losing them next turn. The Imperial Brigade will give them a bunch of 4 power units, making it harder for us to steal the specific cards that we would like. They will take one of our Enforcers, and damage one of them as well. Now let's go Informant, and create a copy of those Enforcers to steal... Oh, okay, well we got the Imperial Brigade, which is not what we were hoping for. Now let's apply some of this damage. And to a certain extent, you can apply that damage with the Enforcers to increase the likelihood of you being able to steal the card that you want to steal by matching the power of the units you want to steal and whatever card you're about to play. Okay, now they'll go with the Duchess's Informant of their own. And they'll use that to create more Enforcers. And with all that damage, they'll destroy some of our units here. And they have enough spies that if we play the Aristocrats, we'll be strong enough to steal their Slave Hunter. And they'll play another Slave Hunter. They will steal our Enforcers there, the last of our 4 power units. Let's damage the Imperial Brigade so that we aren't going to steal that card here when we play our 4 power Thirsty Dame. This way we increase the likelihood of getting a card like Enforcers. Okay, Dandelion Poet is another great card like Braathens because you get to play 2 units. They'll steal 1 with their initial card, then with their second, the Hunting Pack will steal our Enforcers as well. Let's go Dudu. Transform into one of the preferable 4 power cards, either Thirsty Dame or an Enforcers. We'll go Thirsty Dame, since they keep on stealing our Enforcers. Thirsty Dame gets boosted a little more easily, making it harder to steal. And they'll go with a Hunter here, and yes, we do have now a 3 power card, so they will steal something. They'll also lock that Thirsty Dame. And that means at this stage, it would be awfully difficult for us to make a comeback here in this round, because neither Joachim nor Ivar line up for a good steal, so let's pass. Okay, and let's mulligan Spores, and that should do. So they'll dry pass. And if we use Experimental Remedy, we can probably get a throwaway card here. Though in theory, if they have an Experimental Remedy of their own, then they could steal something from our graveyard. So we'll deliberately play something weak like Imperial Brigade. And that's all we'll need to win round 2. Okay, so let's mulligan the Sergeant. And I'm okay with Angry Mob. Let's dump the Hunter as well. Ooh, but Spores is not a great pickup. And it's always hard to go first, because there's nothing to steal. But let's go with Joachim, because that gives us a 12 power unit. Which is going to be very difficult for them to steal. Oh, except they have Rico. So steal they will. But not to worry, we have a counter for this. Because if we go Ivar and steal the power from Rico, not only will Ivar get big, he will also have the same amount of power as that Sergeant, so we'll steal the Sergeant. Okay, they'll go Oneiromancy. And then Bribery could be anything from our starting deck. And it's Braathens. He is normally very strong, although even with him, you're not going to be able to steal anything here. So considerably worse than it would usually be. That's a benefit of us having 2 very highly boosted units out there right now. And let's continue with the boosting here by going with Land of 1,000 Fables, and using that to give us Oneiromancy. And then why not use Oneiromancy just to give us Coup de Grace as we can. Use that to hit Joachim. Get another Joachim down here. Get another highly boosted units. It's Rico. Uma's Curse, also wide range of things this could end up being. Huh. Dreamed. Give them a lot of boosts here. But that does set things up well for Angry Mob. If we hit Joachim, that'll boost Angry Mob up to 5 so that we can steal that Sergeant. And then they'll use Duchess's Informants. And they'll create a copy of the Angry Mob. And it looks like they might be about to do the same thing we just did to them. That they are. Then again, we also have a Duchess's Informant. So we'll just be taking that Angry Mob back, thank you very much. Okay, and they're using Aguara. Again, another card that could give them any of the number of things. They get Sabrina's Inferno. That's not one you see very often. Doesn't really help them very much. Then because they've double-crossed and I'm expecting them to use that on their next turn, we have some highly boosted units, so I really don't want them to steal Yrden. It doesn't help us very much, but just to prevent them from playing it, I think we go for that this turn. So let's use it to reset the range row, and then we'll also steal a unit in the process, so it's not terrible. Because yes, we do see them using their leader ability here, and they do use Spores, which is basically a mini Yrden. Then they play Glynis, and steal a Sergeant in the process. But then we can play Enforcers, to steal that Sergeant back, and use our leader ability. I think we take Dudu here. And remember, of course, Braathens is boosted, so he's only going to be a 4 if we take him and we don't get his deploy ability. So for that reason, I think we just turn to Glynis, and we'll steal Glynis. Then I guess we damage Braathens and make it a little bit easier to steal on our next turn. Except there won't be a next turn, because they forfeit. Alright, so going against Nilfgaard here. And we'll go first. Okay, and let's get rid of the Sergeant. And although it's obviously a great card, I don't like having Yrden in our hand when our opponent is using double cross, so let's get rid of him. And also Diplomacy. So let's start with the Dame, and then use our tactic so that she's harder to steal. Then they'll use Braathens, and this is why we use the tactic immediately, because otherwise Braathens would have been able to steal her absolutely. It will still create a copy of a Thirsty Dame. But we can steal that Thirsty Dame if we play our Enforcers. And let's just damage Braathens in case those Enforcers get stolen. Okay, and that Imperial Diviner will steal something. They get the Dame. Let's use Oneiromancy to play Braathens. Because with Braathens, we can steal one of those cards and then use the Duchess's Informant. Create a copy of that Diviner to steal the other one. And we'll continue to damage Braathens, make it a little bit easier to steal him on our next turn, hopefully. Okay, Seditious Aristocrats. Leave a couple of spies, so we'll get boosted. Enough for them to steal our Braathens. But let's hit Braathens with our Enforcers, because now if we play our own Aristocrats, we can steal their Aristocrats. And they'll go Usurper, which does have 6 strength, so that will steal one of our 6 strength units as well. Then if we play Dudu, we can transform into that Usurper and steal it, and we can deal some damage with those Enforcers. And actually, if we had used those Enforcers' damage first, we could have guaranteed that we'd steal the Aristocrats rather than Usurper, which would have been preferable. Broadsaucer will get some poison in here. Not sure how relevant that's going to be. Then if we Duchess's Informant to create one of our own Aristocrats, then we can at least get an 8 strength unit out here. And I guess we just hit the Aristocrats. There goes the Cow Carcass. And they'll pass here. So we'll take a round 1 win. And I actually like what we have here. So let's not mulligan anything. And we'll try pass, because we did play one more card than our opponent in round 1. No Cantarella. Hopefully they don't steal anything big here. Thirsty Dame, I think we can live with that. Let's get rid of Spores here. And I suppose Diplomacy. Now we did get Yrden, which is, like I was saying before, a great card, yes, though a little bit risky when they have Double Cross. They'll start off with a Masquerade Ball. Spawns in that Thirsty Dame. And that means that if we play our Enforcers, we can take that Dame for our own. And then they'll play another Thirsty Dame. We'll steal ours and then trigger the next round of Masquerade Ball, giving them a poison here. And also allowing them to steal our Enforcers. But not to worry, because if we use Mob, then we can actually take one of those Thirsty Dames back. And they're damaging that Thirsty Dame. I'm expecting a Hunter here. Yeah, because that has 3 strength. Then they can steal it. And they'll lock the Mob, because why not? That triggers the last round of their Masquerade Ball, which will give them poison. I mean, doesn't do anything on the Mob here. They already stole our other unit with poison. Let's go with Experimental Remedy. And with that, get another Thirsty Dame. So that way we can seal Fangs of the Empire. Now they go Joachim de Wett. That'll, of course, give them a big unit here. A 12 strength Nauzicaa Sergeant. And that may be the biggest card that they'll have in this round. So what I'm thinking is we go Land of 1,000 Fables. Into Royal Decree. Into Rico. Who, of course, now has 12 strength. So that way we can steal that Nauzicaa Sergeant. Okay, and their Moorlehem Hunter does have a couple of units that can steal here. And they get the better one, the Thirsty Dame. Now, if we play Joachim, then there are a couple of cards we can get. And if we get the Nauzicaa Sergeant, then it will have 12 strength and we will steal that big Thirsty Dame. That's our hope here. And it is the Nauzicaa Sergeant. So we will steal that Thirsty Dame. And their emissary, give them a boost, though it actually won't allow them to steal anything. Okay, and we have enough highly boosted units that if they play their leader ability and steal our Yrden, then that is going to be catastrophic. So I think we play Yrden here, largely just to prevent them from doing that. And especially after they use that emissary in their previous turn, means we have a decent target in their range row. So let's reset that. And it does also mean we get to steal those Enforcers. Okay, Fergus. Give us a bunch of statuses. And then they'll use their leader ability. And they'll use Ivar. And they actually have a really good play here if they target one of our 12 strength units. That way they get 12 strength and they steal our other 12 strength unit. Oh, and they don't do it though. They just go for the biggest unit. Now that's a big misplay. Now let's go Oneiromancy into Duchess's Informant. And with that, create a copy of the Thirsty Dame, and allows us to steal one of their units. Then we'll use our leader ability to take another Thirsty Dame, and steal Joachim. Then Master of Disguise, we do have a locked unit, actually 2 of them, so we'll definitely get boosted. And they steal back the Thirsty Dame by doing that. But if we damage Ivar Evil-Eye, then we can damage him again. Now, unfortunately, it's 1 turn too late to do the damage swapping because this is Ivar's Adrenaline 2 kicking in here. The numbers didn't quite line up on our previous turn, so unfortunately, that's the best we can do here. Then they'll play a Thirsty Dame and steal our other Thirsty Dame. Then, let's use Coup de Grace to make our own Thirsty Dame and steal one of theirs. And they'll go Duchess's Informant, which will actually fill our entire side of the board to create, you guess it, a Thirsty Dame. But even after that, they cannot catch us, and so they forfeit. So there's a look at a Nilfgaard deck that focuses on stealing as many of our opponent's cards as possible for the new Irresistible Attraction seasonal event. If you liked the video, then make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and leave a comment down below to let me know which other cards, archetypes, and factions you'd like us to experiment with next. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.